2.
Dilly dilly YouTube, welcome to a safety video. A lot of the things I'm going to tell you, some of it is my opinion, some of it is personal experience and experiences learned from customers that have been relayed to me. But this video has been a long time in the making. I get asked questions all the time. There's a lot of you that are very new to fireworks, and then there's a lot of you that are seasoned veterans, and maybe some of the things I tell you in this video will help you out, but definitely for all you newbies out there, hopefully a lot of this stuff will help. First, let's talk about the inherent dangers of fireworks. They are explosives. They kill people and blow fingers off and injure people every year. Most of the time is user error, and there are ways to prevent that, obviously, but there are some bigger things when we have catastrophes or CATOs, when racks blow apart, that hopefully some of these things you learned today watching this video will help. So they are explosives. Now those of you that are going to see these, sit next to these, you're going to see these are these Cush shells. These are 7-inch shells, and these are Anarchies, which are just a 4-inch. It's all gimmicky, my opinion. Now, what you will notice is, and we'll go back to the 15-inch long pipe. I get asked for that all the time. I don't stock it. I don't carry it. I don't believe in it. Testing on the internet, and I've seen and other stuff, to the naked eye, you're not going to see a difference. And if you look, even this Cush pipe that's hidden in here is about a 1/4 inch taller than what comes with the Anarchy, which is a 4-inch pipe. Besides the point, they're explosives. They're super dangerous. I have gotten called out for overbuilding our racks. They're explosives. They blow up. So what I have here is, we did some testing a while back with HDPE pipe, because obviously that's what you want to use. You do not want to use PVC for many reasons, and it's been talked about on the internet 1,000 times. I don't need to rehash it, but I mean, that's what happens to HDPE. This is what's supposed to happen when a CATO happens, right? This is what you want your pipe to do. It blows it apart. It's not good. Now, we did these in cinder blocks, okay? There's a couple different versions of cinder blocks, many different versions. We had one that had 3 holes in it. After the second one, we did one, grabbed the pipe out of it, put another pipe in with the shell upside down, and after that second one, it split the cinder block in half. They're no joke. These will kill you. So safety is the most important thing. I preach that all the time. That's why I laugh when I say, or when I hear that my racks are overbuilt. You're dealing with explosives that will kill you. How can you overbuild something? It doesn't make sense to me. So that's all I'm going to say about that. However, it comes down to the other thing that gets talked about a lot on the internet, and that is spacers in between the pipe. Does it make a difference? I don't know. In my opinion, it does not. And that goes for 1.4 consumer and even 1.3 in professional stuff, 3-inch and up. It may not. I have seen many times where it doesn't make a difference, and I've had customers email or send me pictures of my racks with a CATO and the rack blown apart, and I've seen many pictures where it is not blown apart. And I can say the same thing about spacers. So, in my opinion, if a CATO happens, first of all, you can't, you never know when a CATO is going to happen. They don't happen that often. When they do, it's bad. A spacer may help, it may not help. Just like without spacers, it may help and it may not help. So, to answer that question, it's all opinion based. There is absolutely no proof that it makes a difference. And I know somebody's thinking NFPA out there. Well, the NFPA are guidelines. They help, Sure. I don't know. Maybe. Spacers are sometimes helpful, sometimes not. They're going to make the rack a lot heavier. They're going to make the rack more expensive. If you want spacers in your 1-4 racks, one of my competitors out there at Pro Pyro Racks, Jim, builds his racks with spacers. Go see him if you want to buy a rack with spacers in it. If you want your 1-3 racks built with spacers, I will do that. I'm going to charge you more, obviously. It's more labor, more lumber. And that goes back to when I said earlier about I've gotten beat up a couple of times for saying my rack's overbuilt. So if my rack's overbuilt, I can't even imagine what Jim hears about his racks, because he does have spacers in all his racks. His 50-shot rack, I mean, my 50-shot rack weighs 73 pounds without spacers. I can't imagine what his is. So, we've covered the inherent dangers of fireworks. They are explosives. They will kill you. You have to be extra careful around them and with them. PVC, if you have a Kato and PVC, I know you guys love sticking them in those milk crates. It's cheap and easy. You're gonna, if that ever goes, you're gonna have big problems. It all boils down to distance. If you are electronically firing your racks or your cakes from a safe distance, that's great. You should be 200 feet or more from your audience and from what you're lighting. A lot of you guys like to hand light your stuff. That's dangerous. That's why electronic firing systems, or even, I'm old school and I hand light. However, it's all in one fuse. I put my show together, everything's chained together with fuse. I light one fuse and I got 2 minutes to walk away from it, and I sit back and enjoy the show. Those guys out there individually hand lighting stuff, well, that's, even with HDPE, I mean, that's a bad thing. Even if you're hand lighting and you're within a couple feet of this, you're gonna have problems. So, one of the best things one of my customers told me years ago, and I should have shared this years ago, I just haven't had the time, unfortunately, is the black silt fence. Silt, S-I-L-T. Home Depot carries it, Lowe's carries it, Menards carries it. It's that black fabric, plasticky looking fence that you see at construction sites that's meant to hold back dirt, debris, what have you. For instance, the Home Depot has it 2 foot tall by 100 foot long with stakes is $33.12. If it's 3 foot high by 100 feet long, wire backed, so it's even stronger. Now there's no stakes, it's $49.60. 4 foot tall by 100 snow fence, which is also good but does have the holes in it, is $47.94. Now, one of the coolest things, if you get that 3 foot by 100 and doesn't have the wooden stakes already in it, you can go to, well, there's a Rural King here by us. Tractor Supply has these things too. These are $1.99 each. You simply step that into the ground and you can attach your fence to this, that silt fence to this. I'm telling you, that stuff would stop a shell if need be. Now, that's if your audience is much closer than 200 feet, which makes me cringe, but you need to be 200 feet from these things because they will injure you or the people around you. Now, the silt fence will help. I know a lot of you can't do 200 feet. I understand that. So, most importantly, you want your audience to be safe. And houses, wherever else when you guys are shooting subdivisions. For 50 bucks, let's just say you went with the 3 foot by 100 and you had to buy a bunch of these. I mean, if you're into it for $100 to ensure the safety or help ensure the safety of your friends, family, houses, whatever, I mean, that's pretty cheap. And that will, now, again, you're not going to be able to see the show coming up, but you know, there's give and take for safety reasons that I think that's a pretty cheap investment to help protect you know, the people around you that are enjoying your show. So again, safety. I mean, out here, we don't have to worry about that with our new house here. You know, I got about 19 acres to shoot on. I don't have to worry about the 200 foot. But a lot of you do, and you know, just, you gotta be safe. That's the most important thing. And that brings me to the new rack here, which is called America. Stay there, honey. So, this rack, I'll leave it just like this. So, there's no safe zone on this rack, right? There are shells going in every direction. So, when this does get put up on the internet, which will be soon on our website, which is glmr.us for those of you that don't know, I'm going to make you click a checkbox before you can put this to your cart that's going to state that you understand the inherent dangers of fireworks and that you will be shooting this at a minimum of 250 feet from your audience and or any structures. Because, as you can see, there's shells going in every direction. So I highly recommend, if you do not have room to even shoot a fan rack, that you do not buy this rack. If you have room to shoot a fan rack and you have distance, I think this rack is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to shoot this rack this weekend, and I'll have it up on YouTube here, and we'll see what this thing does. It's going to be pretty spectacular. I'll shoot it a couple different ways. I think maybe going around might be fun, and then something else too. But anyways, so this especially, you got to have room to shoot, plain and simple. Let's do a couple of quick things here. I've gotten asked questions how to clean a rack, how to maintain it. So moving on to safety, but that's also a safety part of owning a rack and maintaining a rack, right? After shooting, you want to dump out all the debris. Pretty simple thing to do, right? Go to the dollar store so your wife doesn't get mad at you, and get a couple of toilet brushes from the dollar store. A couple, because I don't know how long they're going to last. They seem to last, I use them quite a bit, so they last a little while, but maybe get two. But anyways, run that toilet brush in there, get the extra debris out, get it all out. Always want to check. Look through there, look through that pipe, look through a window, look outside, just make sure you're not seeing any light through that plug. I had a customer tell me that he pours water on the racks, like what he would do with what most people would do with a cake. Do not pour water in these. That wood plug in there will expand and then shrink. And then guess what? Then you lose your lift charge off your shell, and that plug is no good, which means you're either popping that plug out, buying new plugs and replugging it, which I can tell you, and my wife will tell you, it's not that fun to plug these things.
Nope.
Now obviously we do thousands at a time, but different. So don't pour water on the racks. They're not meant to get doused with water. Clean them out, put them back in. They're gonna get dirty, it is what it is. But you know, just check that. Make sure nothing's split apart. Pretty basic stuff. If you see wood splitting, you can easily just drill it, pre-drill it, and put another screw in it somewhere, and it should be fine. I mean, for the most part, they're gonna hold together unless you have a Kato, or unless you drop one from a significant distance. I have dropped many of these and they do hold together. So other than that, let's see, let me make sure I got all through my list here of stuff. Blah, 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 we did that. And I'll just keep saying, it's all about distance. If you can't be 200 feet or more from your audience or from a building, I highly recommend the silt fence from Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards. I'm sure they all carry it. I just happened to grab Home Depot because that's where I buy all my stuff from. I got the prices on it. These things, again, they were $1.99 a Rural King. I would imagine they're around that same price at Tractor Supply. The silt fence is nice because you can then roll it up and put it in your garage or put it up top. It's super lightweight, but it will work and it will help. So again, just the number one rule is be safe. You know, obviously drinking is the main reason why people get hurt in fireworks, it seems, and just lack of safety for distance. It's always seems a distance issue. So we had a guy here die in Michigan, 4th of July, and it was, from what I understand, a NOAB that tipped over, and he was about 25 feet from it, and he took it in the chest. It's sad. He was a professional hockey player, 24 years old, and it's very unfortunate that their backyard clearly wasn't big enough, and I'm sure alcohol was involved too. So it's just a sad thing that you hear stuff like that. And some of the pictures I've got, I did have a rack blow apart. I think the cake next to it caught fire, and of course, you know, then the rack caught fire and melted some of the pipe, and I don't know if everything had gone at that point, but you know, it happens. They're dangerous. So be safe. If you got any questions, you know, my phone number is all over the place on the website. I love fielding calls from you guys, questions, any input you have, any extra safety tips you may have. I can always update a video. Hey, just be safe, and I appreciate the business. We're super busy. If my wife will pan over real quick to what that shot is, maybe you scan it so you can see all of them, and then come back. So those are about to go out onto the semi that we have sitting out back, or out front actually, because we are out of space, which is a good problem to have, but super busy, and it's fun. I've got to meet a lot of new people, and you know, again, any safety tips you may have, please contact me, and we'll go from there. So take care. Remember, hit that subscribe button. See ya.